I'm Bojana Jovanovic. I'm Deputy Editor-in-Chief of KRIK. KRIK is investigative media, investigative portal from Serbia, and we are investigating organized crime and corruption.
My name is Olga Ceaglei. I'm an investigative journalist from the Republic of Moldova. I'm the co-founder and the editor of the media project called CU SENS.
I would like to know more about your, can you tell me more about your organization? Because I have just colleagues from RISE Moldova, because KRIK is part of OCCRP network. So I know some of the colleagues from RISE Moldova. And can you tell me, is it, what you do, is it similar like they do? Or is it, kind of, are you fighting over the market or, over the audience, or how it looks like?
Yeah, actually, I will surprise you, baby, but I was part of RISE Moldova.
Oh,
so
cool.
Yeah, I was part of a team, I think, from the first year of the when they start the activity in 2015. I think we met to the conference at OCCRP.
Really?
But for sure, I chat with your two colleagues, with Elena and
Stevan, probably.
Stevan,
yes. Yeah, editor.
You guys are incredible, good, and I'm really glad I have the opportunity to talk with you. And I follow you. I follow your stories and what you do in your country. And to be honest, I really want to somehow to be at least with a soul and with you, because I know you had a lot of treats as a media institution in Serbia, and it's really difficult, but we will talk later about, I think, about this. I was part of RISE Moldova, and I learned a lot from our colleagues from different countries, from OCCRP network. But 3 years ago, three investigative journalists from RISE Moldova decided one day to create a new media organization. We do, of course, investigation, but we decided to do 100% video investigation, which is harder. It's true.
I know. Yeah.
Yes, it's true. It's harder, but we decided to do video because we want to make this story more accessible for a bigger audience, because I remember my friends tell me, "Oh my gosh, your story are so complicated. It's like a criminal case, like a prosecutor documents. It's really difficult for us to understand all this connection, offshore deals and stuff like that. We need the information more accessible for us." And of course, it was an honor for me to be part of RISE Moldova, and we are not fight with each other. We are on the same path, and we are in contact all the time with our colleagues from RISE, of course. And if we need support, any support, we will ask them, and vice versa. So it's great. Yeah. I like them, all of them, and with one of my colleagues, we teach investigative journalists to the School of Journalists, and that's it.
Cool. So that means we have more in common actually than I thought at first. Because KRIK is also founded, like your organization. We were part, like the journalists who founded KRIK were members and working for Center for Investigative Reporting of Serbia. So at one point in 2015, we decided to leave that organization and to start something new. So that's exactly like what you did, right?
Right, it's kind of like this. It's good. Sometimes we need to change something. It's good gives you more motivation, and it's actually you do the same job, but you have new challenges. For example, now with my colleague Luba Shevchuk, we we are co-founders, so we are not just only reporters, but we need to find resources for our team, which is so essential for independent journalists.
Yeah.
So if you are independent, financially independent, you can do your job properly. And it's really important. When we start the organization, we start with a crowdfunding campaign. When we raise our first amount of money, because we wanted to understand if Moldovan audience want to see us, who need a new media organization, and we were very inspiring. But because after this crowdfunding campaign, we raised around €5,000 and we start our activity. We rent our first small office, 17 square meters. We bought our first camera and we start our activity. And we have 3 years now of as in this format, and we publish more than 300 stories.
Wow, so, that's a lot of work. Yeah,
and one of the latest stories about, I'm sure maybe you heard about this guy. He was involved in he's a politician, but he is involved in bank fraud. You know about this bank fraud of Moldova. And he is under investigation. Actually, he recently was convicted of 15 years in prison, and he is involving now in a lot of protests and with many ties with Russia. So Russia's tried to destabilize our political and economical and social, everything they want to destabilize here. And he is involved. And he is hiding in Israel, and we managed to find his villa, his luxury villa where he lives, and hope one day he will be punished for all the bad deals he did.
Does he have some connections to the politicians or from somebody from the government? Because in Serbia, it's usual for people who are deeply corrupted or who are, like criminals or have ties with criminals, that they are really close to the, like the circles of people who are really in power, like members of the government or the ones that are really close to the members of the government or their family members, or etc. And in that way, they're kind of protected, and the prosecution is not investigating them, etc. So is this the same situation with this guy?
It's 100% the same situation. Yeah, this guy actually is the leader of a party. He's organizing all the protests, and they are part of the parliament. They have few mandates. So So all the time in Moldova, organized crime is deeply connected with politicians. So when we are talking about mafia, it's not like drug deals or something like that, like we see in movies and so on. It's more complex. It's more hidden. And we see politicians all the time connected with some criminals. And of course, we see some changes in last years, but still we need to take a deep look on this side of the politics, because what we see, we have some oligarchs who decided one day to become a politician. And we had one great oligarch who controls our country for many years, for a few years. It's about Vladimir Plahotniuk. He also is a fugitive. Now he's hiding somewhere in North Cyprus, I think. There are some rumors, and he also was involved in so many robberies and connection with criminal worlds and even mafia. So yeah, it's the same situation. That's why we as investigative journalists, we first of all follow the money, right? You do the same. We follow the money. For us, it's really important to understand how a state institution works, how they manage all these fundings, how taxes and so on, but also money. For example, in Moldova, we right now have a lot of aid from EU. So it's important to see how the government, what they do with this money, and if they use in a proper way, and if this money, because it will be said that money are coming for support our country, because we are faced energetic crisis, the inflation go up 30%, we have the refugees crisis. So many problems in last 2 years, around 2 years when war starts. But it will be a shame for us to let this money, this support, to go in criminal pockets, right? And I think you have the same situation, so you also should, right? Do you have any example? Can you share some interesting cases?
Well, maybe it's even worse here in Serbia, because year by year we are like going into autocracy, and we are not the democratic country anymore, unfortunately. And I think the situation is worse from year to year. And what the government here did, I think that they legalized corruption. And how it goes. So here it's not about to, investigate the guys who are getting money on public tenders, because we all know who these guys are. And we have just several companies that are getting all the money and all the biggest projects in the country. And we know who these guys are, and we know that these guys are, really close to the members of the government. And that's it. We publish the story, but, the thing is that everything is kind of illegal. By law, everything is clean. They got the job, they are the best, they are the biggest, but they became the biggest and the best because of these connections and because of, getting all the public money. So in a way, we have, like a structure of the companies that are getting all the money and all the jobs in the country. And what they do, they are, like expanding the network. So those companies are buying another companies, and in that way, they're, covering all other, fields where they can get the money, and do some job. So I think we have a really big issue with that. And as you mentioned, the energetic crisis, we are facing the same, and inflation and everything. And it's kind of a really tough time here. And the government is not, we don't even have anybody who is willing to fight, because everybody, all of them are somehow involved in this shady businesses and, corrupted deals, etc. And we did a lot of stories when it comes to corruption, where we investigated actually the members of the government. And we found out, that they're in corrupted deals. For example, let's say the biggest, I think, and the well-known investigation is related to current Minister of Finance. He used to be Belgrade's mayor, so he was the mayor of the biggest city in Serbia. And we found out that together with colleagues from Bulgaria through OCCRP, so we found out that he had 2 offshore companies. And that through these offshore companies, he bought 24 apartments on Bulgaria seaside, 24 apartments. And what some of the deals were signed, he signed when he was in position, while he was the mayor. And what happened after that? So we published the story, and at that time, Prime Minister, now our president, he said, he's not guilty, you're lying, etc. And after that, actually, there was some investigation agency for anti-corruption agency here with the colleagues from Bulgaria. They got some documents and they investigated him, and they suspected, so the agency suspected that it was a corrupted deal and that he was involved in money laundering. And they sent the report to the prosecution for organized crime, but they did nothing, of course. And it is cool, cool in a bad way, what happened to him after our investigation. So we published the story in 2016, and soon after that he became Minister of Finance.
Of course.
So, so the person who was suspected of money laundering, became the Minister of Finance. And actually, as Minister of Finance, he is in charge for administration for anti-money laundering. So, he's the best person for that job, I would say.
He knows how it works.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you, and you describe the situation in Moldova during the captured state by the Democratic Party and the oligarch Vladimir Plahotniuc. And I remember investigative journalists in Moldova. We are few. We are not so many, but story we published are remarkable and amazing, and was very interesting. We had this impression for many years that we published something and nothing changed. So they really don't care, because if an oligarch controls a party, government party, by politicians and deputies in parliament, so they control the prosecutor, the anti-corruption center, they control the national bank, they even owns banks. So they don't really care at the moment on your stories. Yeah. But I will tell something. We need to wait a little bit, because one day the stories will be part of a criminal case. What I see now in Moldova, that stories we published a few years ago are now let's say like an inspiration for anti-corruption
prosecution and
prosecution. We need to be we need to wait a little bit, and continue to do our work, because our work is really important. Because I have some discussion with young journalists, and they have this impression, our role is not so important, why we fight, why you should put us in danger, because doing investigative journalism is not easy, it's not safe in many cases, it's hard, it's you know. You definitely know. And I explain, because I have more than 15 years of experience as investigative journalist, and I look back to how Moldova looks 10, 15 years ago, and how we worked. For example, 15 years ago, we didn't have any access to databases. We worked just through sources. We didn't have any possibility to check any information. So we relied only on request of information and our sources, which is not enough for a good investigation. Mm-hmm. Now we have access. We have access to online databases. Of course, some of them are not free. We should pay for it. So investigative journalists is expensive. That's why we are not many. And I think in Serbia it's the same situation.
Well, I think that here the situation, it's kind of a little different, I would say. So let's say 10 years ago, or maybe 7 years ago, something like that, Serbia started opening when it comes to databases, when it comes to data of public importance. We had a law like more than, actually, it was 15 years ago. We had a law on data of public importance, so you can just, put the request and get all the documents. And at the beginning, it was really hard, but then the institutions were started like opening, and they became more transparent. And when the government changed, actually, it was in 2012, the situation started getting worse and worse. So now, for example, we still have a lot of open databases where you can, and most of them are free. So you can check the information like online very, very fast. And you can, even download documents, official, etc. But they are they're trying to control what you can see, and they want, to know what exactly you are checking. So, for example, at first it was free just to go on some website and you just, search for whatever you want. Now you need to create an account. And by creating an account, the institution will see, what very exactly you clicked on the website and what you are, searching. But on the other way, when it comes to Freedom of Information Act, the situation is like awful, because at this point, it's really hard to get any document from the public institution, from public enterprise, from the government, president, etc., by submitting a request, like Freedom of Information request. They just decided that they don't want to give any documents, and they don't care, because you can fight over that. But as you said, it's the same situation, because the government controlled the judiciary and everything. So it's like you lost the battle before you started it, if you want to fight. So now we are relying mostly on the sources, and most information and most documents we are getting actually through the sources, because the institutions closed. But as you said, and that's, like young journalists, and not just young journalists, but like the citizens, they are asking us, they're kind of, all pessimistic, because they're asking us, okay, why do you do your job? Why do you risk so much? You're putting yourself in danger for what? Because you publish something, nothing happens after that, nothing change. And as you said, and I totally agree with that, like one day our stories will be part of some investigation, will be inspiration for anti-corruption agency, for prosecution, when the institutions will be free, of course. And on the other hand, I think it's really important for the future, for us to do our job for the better future, but also to keep citizens, informed.
Right.
They need to know what's going on. Maybe nothing changes after we publish that, but I really think that, changes will come, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, maybe in 10 years, but definitely, and that's the scope and the whole, like, the meaning of investigative journalism, right?
We care about our citizen, we care about people, and we really want people to be informed. This is our purpose. And I am really amazed when I hear from some politicians or part of a government, hey, you work for someone interest. Yeah. And we all the time should fight with them and explain, actually, we are do our job in public interest. And it's really funny because, for example, if some party is not on the are not a ruling party, are in opposition, they support investigative journalists and they say, yeah, guys, you do a great job. And then they go to...
Until they become...
until they become...
government,
right? They change the speech. And they look at us like enemies, and they don't understand that our role is to make them accountable. We are like I don't know the word in English. Like someone is checking and
like audit, like
right.
Audit.
And they need us because when you are in power, sometimes you think you are the god. Maybe, who knows? Some of them believes they are gods and they can do anything they want. And we are here to remind them, hey guys, actually you are here to do this country better, to offer to citizens a better life, to take care of rule of law, of human rights, this value we want to see in our countries. And don't be shy, do your job.
Exactly.
Yeah, because some of them are going to the power not in the public interest, unfortunately. They are going because they want to save their money, they want to become richer, or they are some puppet of some criminals guys. And we are here to remind them that it's not good. And we should act like that. And that's why our job is important. That's why I'm an investigative journalist, because I believe that investigative journalists will change the world. I know it sounds very, I don't know, dramatic and very romantic, but it's like that. I truly believe. And I definitely see the changes. And I see after some stories that some criminal case starts. I see law changing. I see people more active. I remember when we published 10 years ago a story, because Moldova people are not so involved. They will not comment. They will be quiet somewhere because this is the mentality of post-Soviet country. And I remember 10 years ago when we published and share a story through social media, nobody will comment even. So
maybe they were afraid also.
Yeah, they are afraid. But now I see changes. People are starting to debate, to discuss about stories, to be more involved in political life, social life, economical life. They become more active, and this is great. We want people who are proactive and who care about this country.
It's the same situation here. I mean, here people are like our readers are really supportive, and it is like that from the beginning of when we founded KRIK. So it's for all these years, we have huge support from our readers, the audience, and it's not just that they are commenting, they're like sharing on their social media our stories, etc. But they're also, paying us small donations, individual donations. And it's really cool because we had a few small campaigns in which they supported us with the donation. And I can say that they see when we are in danger and when we are pressured, then the support of the readers is getting stronger and bigger and wider. So, for example, I mean, we are kind of in really bad situation here in Serbia. I mean, KRIK is often targeted by the government. They are using their media they control, like TV stations, newspapers, portals, to attack us. They're creating smear campaigns against us, saying that we are spies, that we are working for some foreign interests, that we want to overturn the prime minister, the government, and etc. And they also are attacking us, saying that we are criminals, that we are money launderers, that we work for criminal groups, which is actually putting us like in real danger. And when they do that, when the government creates smear campaign, when we have Prime Minister saying, you know, like in public statements attacking KRIK and journalists, we have the biggest support from the readers like ever, because they know, they feel that, you know, we are in danger. They know we are like really important as investigative journalists for the country. They know we are credible because, you know, we do stories in public interest. And they just, you know, they create us. Once during one campaign, they even, you know, wanted to make a small protest, you know, in front of the government in support for us. And I think that's the best award a journalist can get, you know, like when the readers truly believe you and they know that, you know, you're right, and they will support you at any time. And that's really, really cool because, for example, now we are facing slaps. So we have 12 like slap lawsuits, and it's the same thing, you know, like readers know that all those guys who are suing us and companies, that they just want to, you know, silence us. And that's not good for public interest. And that's why, you know, we are getting the really big support from them. And it really means a lot.
Yeah, we have the same situation with strategic case. I remember last year we published 2 stories, and after 2 stories we received 6 requests from the same time. In the same time, we had, and for a small organization, an independent media, that means we should close our activity because it's really expensive to have a lawyer. Of course, we ask for support from our partners, and we receive the support. So we are here. Still, we are here, but it's really dangerous. And they know they can use this tool, this legal tool, to attack us. Yeah. But what you're saying about your readers, it's incredible, and this is really inspiring. This is a great support for us as investigative journalists, because we know we are not alone. And in the same time, I think it's really important to be part of international
organizations. And unions.
Because the age of lone wolf is gone. Now we need to act as a pack, you know, in not only in our country, but international, to go international, because organized crime is going international. So we are following organized crime. So we need to work together. And we have some great examples, Pandora Papers. So
I really love these cross-border investigations and these international, like, huge projects, journalistic, because it's really cool and powerful to see so many people working, you know, at the same issue, same project. It's really, really great.
And sometimes you find in some documents in your country something related to Serbia or Bulgaria. Or I remember when I was at RISE, Miranda wrote me, you know Miranda.
Of course.
Hey Olga, look, I have a document, some Moldovan guys appear here, can you check? Oh my gosh, and I found there so precious information. So the guy who, for them, it was just a guy from Moldova. In Moldova, it was the guy who controls a company who is owning a lot of public contracts, receive a lot of public contracts. And was investigated in Bosnia for some money laundering and stuff like that. So that's why it's so important to know journalists from different countries, because some great stories come.
It was. I remember we did one story that was really cool with colleagues from Bosnia, because we had the guy, we investigated the guy who has citizenship of Serbia, but also from Bosnia. And he was traveling, you know, he was at the one time here and then he went there, and he didn't know that we are working kind of together, you know, like with the colleagues in Bosnia. And he would use it as excuse. He cannot meet us. He would just say, oh, I'm now in Bosnia. And then our colleague from Bosnia would call him, okay, I hear you are here, can we meet? And he was like, you know, yeah. And it was really cool, because, you know, that, and what's also important is that in some cases, for example, thanks to this cross-border investigation, to the colleagues from other countries, we are really fast. We did some stories, for example, even before the prosecution was investigating the same guy we did, but we were faster because, you know, the prosecution, they need to go like through the Ministry of Justice, right. And, you know, there's a procedure, etc. And for us, it's just like, who do we have in Colombia? Okay, let's call this colleague and, you know, try to get information. And it's also, it's really great, you know, and those cross-border investigations.
And I remember a case. In 2016, we investigated the properties of Vladimir Plahotniuc in Switzerland, France, and Romania. And we used OSINT to find OSINT tools. And I remember we go to the Google map in France, in Les Ouches, close to Chamonix, a luxury. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really nice. And we tried to find this house, and we couldn't. It for us was really complicated. And at the same time, in our office came a colleague from Bellingcat for a training, in-house training like this. And welcome! We have a task for you. Please help. And he helped us. And this kind of collaboration, it's really amazing. And sometimes, so it was really funny because he came in the right time when we really needed him to be. So it's really cool. I really like this collaboration, and we learn a lot from each other. We definitely learn a lot. We learn how to use some databases from different countries. And, it's really good. We become stronger. And together, working together. That's why I'm really happy we have this discussion. And of course, anytime when you need help, if you found some Moldovan guys, or I will find some Serbian guys, and of course we know KRIK will contact you definitely. But hope we will meet at some international conferences, and we will continue our talk, because I really enjoyed to talk with you.
Me too.